Can we center it a little bit more? Some of the names can't quite be read. There we go. Thank you. All right, we're going to begin to organize for the process. Yes, to go to the microphone.
Pastor Roberto Ladia, clergy delegates from Mindanao Philippine Annual Conference. I was surprised to have in the start of 50 congregation. But one by one they are losing. Before they will lose, I will say thank you for that person who trusted me by voting me, and I'm very grateful for what you have done for me. It's an opportunity to participate in the process of selecting leaders. Yes. This time, I am asking these 50 in this congregation to please let me withdraw my name in the race of Episcopal leadership. Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
I'm Nathanael A., the Bilisma of Philippine Annual Conference. What time is it, Bishop? It's time to say thank you to those who cast their ballot on me, and thank you to all that have given that support. At doon naman sa mga nakagamit nito, sa maikling panahon ay nakapaglingkod. Meron kayong 4-point sermon nakalagay po dyan. And I have to tell it now. This is the time to tell you that I'm withdrawing my name in the episcopacy.
Thank you for your leadership. Thank you. Thank you. I saw a hand. Please, Pastor Bill.
Good afternoon. I am Marisol Sioco Villalon from Southwest Philippines Annual Conference. I dream of a church that is relevant and effective in its ministry to the world, especially the marginalized and the poor. I hope that the leaders that we elect will really give their best in leading the church towards ministry, in ministries to our wounded world, and especially our poor people in the rural areas. I dream of a church that is self-governing, an autonomous church, a self-reliant church, a church with an identity of its own. I hope that our leaders will not only make this dream of mine a piece of their, pag nagkakandidato sila, but I hope that they will work in the future, in the near future, for an autonomous church that has been our dream for a very long time. No? It is also my dream that our bishops will lead in democratization of power, in democratization of resources, so that by now, that our bishops, since we are still part of the United Methodist Church and we are not yet autonomous church, and our bishops are receiving dollars, I hope that they will democratize the salaries so that there will be no pastor, no deaconess who will receive 500 pesos and who will die without making it to the hospital because they don't have money for that. I dream of a church that is effective in its work, not only for our people in discipleship making, but in mission to the world, since our church exists in and for the world, and it exists for mission. Thank you very much.
I understand that. Thank you. Any others wish to speak at this point? All right. I would ask the body if you would extend the courtesy of a word to Bishop Juan. Would the body agree to allow Bishop Juan to speak to you a moment? Please.
Thank you so much, Bishop Brown. Would Friends, I would like to express my deep gratitude to all of you. You made my re-election so exciting. Many said I'll get it earlier, but this reminds us that we cannot move on unless we have that one. We really need one. We need the one who has called us and who has sent us out for discipleship. Now, I would like to just request my beloved wife, huwag ka nang pumunta dito, tumayo ka lang dyan, sweetheart. May I request her to please rise? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Next week will be her 44th birthday. And next year, we will be celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary. So our eldest son is now 21 years old. No, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just testing if you are still awake. Our son is 18 years old, 4th year at Ateneo de Manila University. And I would like to request my 25 district superintendents to please just stand. Thank you so much. Yan po ang aking mga district superintendents. As I offer this victory to God, I also offer this victory to my family and to all of you, cabinet. At saka para naman medyo ma-exercise tayo ng konti, pwede bang tumayo lahat ang mga taga-Beya? Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga taga-Blessed Episcopal area. My father-in-law and mother-in-law are there up there, and my sister. Thank you so much. Now, lastly, it's not about me, my dear friends. It's all about God. I know that He allowed me to have the second term because we have a mission to accomplish. And you, all of you, are partners with this. I'm not only looking at 335 who voted for me, but I'm looking at all of you. We are one. We are one, and it is really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop. Let us now prepare for the next ballot, ballot number 6. Would the tellers get in position? Will you close the doors, make sure any delegates that are right there come in and take their seats and close the doors. All right, heads of delegations, if you would rise and check your count. All right, heads of delegations, had a chance to check your count. All right. Tellers ready? Go and receive the count. Yes, is there a question? Let's be in order. There's a question. Go to the microphone, please. Let's be attentive.
Helen Camarcer from PAC. Just a reminder for all the voting delegates that we are supposed to vote only two.
We will do that. Now, if you do my job, I'll have to come down there and get the vote. All right. Have you reported your numbers? Teller's report. All right. We have 452 is the count on this ballot. 452. Before the ballots are distributed, I want to make two reminders to you. On this ballot, you will be placing only two names. Two names. Any more or any less, and your ballot will be invalid. Two names. Please include a first and a last name. First and last name. Please write the name clearly. As they said in the scripture, write it large so that a running man can see it and understand it. A woman would understand it anyway. Third, remember that some of your friends that you've recently voted for have withdrawn their names. If you vote for them, your ballot is invalid. Okay? Any questions? I think we are ready. We're going to ask Bishop Arachia to pray. And at the beginning of the ballot, we're going to first distribute the ballots to the tellers and ask them to take their positions, but before they're given out, we will have the prayer, okay?
You want me to pray now?
So the ballots are being distributed. The tellers will come to you, but we will wait before we ask you to stand. We know it's getting hot. We'll wait until we're ready to pray before you stand.
I don't know. Not all of them understand.
All right. Would all the delegates please stand, and we ask Bishop Archie to lead us in prayer.
Tayo'y manalangin. Dakilang Diyos, salamat at binibigyan ninyo kami sa aming iglesia ng mga alagad ninyo na may kaalaman at may mga kapangyarihan upang makapaglingkod sa inyong iglesia. Sa aming pagpipili, Panginoon, kunin ninyo ang aming mga puso, ang aming mga isipan, at ang aming mga kamay. Gabayan ninyo kami upang may sagawa namin ang pinakamabuting dapat naming gawin upang masunod namin at matupad namin ang inyong banal na kalooban para sa amin at para sa aming iglesia. Ito ang aming dalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Please distribute the ballots and then follow the procedure as you are well aware of it. Would ask if you would please silence that phone. Please remain quiet, please. We still have a few ballots in. All right. I believe all the ballots have been returned to the tellers. Any ballots out that I didn't see? All right. Tellers, would you return and deposit the ballots in the box? As the ballots are coming in, may I remind the delegates that by your rules and by the request of the chair previously, we ask that phones be either turned off or silenced. We have a couple of phones that keep going off. If you would please turn your phone to silent or turn it off, please. Let's be in order. Let's be in order, please. All right. This. Okay. All righty. In the distribution of the ballots, it was discovered that there had been a miscount and that one has been returned, so the count is 451. This ballot is closed. The extra ballot has been returned. The tellers will canvass the ballots.
Bishop, I return the chair to you.
Let us proceed now. I will now call the Committee on Courtesies at this hour.
Bishop and members of this conference, Dorothy Castro, QC Pace. I have no report to make.
All right, your secretary has. Come on, Gladys.
Hello. Good afternoon, Bishop. Gladys Mongilues, Middle Philippines. I'm speaking on behalf of the Courtesies and Privileges Committee. A while ago, we have here our visitors from the seminary from Bukidnon, Bishop Han. Here they are. Let us welcome them. With Reverend Arnaldo Estrella, please do the honor of introducing them because I was not able to get their full names.
Bishops and members of this conference, I would like to introduce to you the president and the founder of the Bishop Han Theological Seminary and the senior pastor of Chuan Methodist Church in Seoul, Korea, Dr. Han Sang-ho. And also the missionary to Bishop Han Theological Seminary, Reverend Chang-sun Lee. One of our companions also is here, our director, Reverend Samuel Miguel.
At this hour, I would like to call on Dr. Lupdag to do a little presentation at this time. Dr. Lupdag is the chair of the University Senate of this Central Conference.
Bishops and members of the Central Conference, this could be a very historic date in the history of the United Methodist Church in the Philippines, because for the first time, there is a seminary of the United Methodist Church that went through the process of going through recognition through the University Senate. It was indeed a very challenging task for the members, 3 of whom are from the Davao Episcopal area, 3 from the Manila Episcopal area, and 3 from the Davao Episcopal area. It took us 3 years to go through the process. One of the difficulties was we tried to follow shared memorandum orders for the giving of permit and later on recognition for higher education institutions in the Philippines that want to be recognized by the government. We visited them 4 times. For every meeting, for every visit, we made recommendations, and we cannot go to the second, we cannot go for a second visit unless we were assured that the recommendations during the first visit are in place. We say that it was indeed a challenging experience for all of us, and we were greatly helped also by the fact that 3 of the members of the University Senate have had experiences in accreditation, especially in the context of state universities and colleges. We are not saying that we used the ground rules for state universities and colleges, but we thought that it would be nice to follow through and try to find out if our seminaries could also follow. It was with this, Bishop Hans, that we are very happy we join you for the day has come for us to give you this certificate, this plaque of recognition. Bishop? University Senate, Philippine Central Conference, United Methodist Church, 900 United Nations Avenue, Ermita, Manila. This certificate of recognition is hereby given to Bishop Hon Theological Seminary, having satisfied all the requirements of the Master of Divinity degree set by the University Senate, the Philippine Central Conference, and confirmed by the Philippine Central Conference Coordinating Council on February 11, 2012. Given this was supposed to be given this 18th day of February in the year of our Lord, 2012. But we waited for this the Central Conference just to let you know not only the recognition but the processes that the seminary had to go through. Signed, Anselmo D. Lupdag, President, University Senate, Philippine Central Conference. Bishop Reverend Rodolfo A. Juan, President, the College of Bishops, Philippine Central Conference. Sir.
We will request Dr. Han to say a few words, some remarks about these things. Thank you.
Bishops, members of the University Senate, delegates, guests, and members of the Philippine Central Conference. Good afternoon. In behalf of John Methodist Church in Korea and the Bishop Han Theological Seminary family in Balai City, I would like to express to all of you our thanksgiving for accrediting BHTS as one of the graduate school of theology in Philippines. As a founder and president of the seminary, may I humbly ask this honorable conference to continuously uphold BHTS in your prayers, that it may serve its purpose and mission, that is to mold our church workers to become biblical, competent, mission-oriented, effective and efficient church planters, facilitators of church growth, and agents for local community, national and international peace building. Let us cement our partnership in mission by joining our hearts and hands together in supporting the noble ministry of BHTS. By sending your candidates for the ministry and church workers who may wish to undergo Master of Divinity to our seminary. Rest assured, my church in Korea will be grateful and committed to work together with our Philippine Central Conference for the betterment of the educational ministry of our seminary. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Han. Thank you. Now I will seek guidance. Yes?
Bishop and members of this conference, three guests were just brought to my attention, and we would like to recognize them.
All right.
The first one is Dr. Melesio Valdez.
All right.
He is a retired pastor of the Iowa Annual Conference.
Where is he? All right. Yes, we welcome you in our conference, Pastor. Yeah.
Okay, the next one is Nancy Kaluya. She is the Executive Director of Kapatiran Kaunlaran Foundation of the Philippines Incorporated.
All right, where is Nancy? Where are you?
I think this is outside, Bishop.
All right. Anyway, you.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you. Anyway, we welcome her. Any more? Yes, Brother Rigor.
I am Hubert Rigor, a clergy from Middle Philippines Annual Conference. Bishops and beloved members of this conference, before our honorable representative from UNCOR spoke, he told our secretary told us that we are still lacking our representatives for the quadrennial boards and agencies. He specified some of the annual conferences that hasn't submitted yet their representatives. So I just want to be clarified on how we should do it. What is the procedure on how we can submit those names?
All right.
Thank you, Bishop.
Yes, Brother Secretary, can you explain that?
I have been approached, Bishop, by several representations from some annual conferences, and they seem to be confused about nominating legislative committee memberships and quadrennial agency memberships. When you are elected as delegates, you meet as a delegation to choose your committee memberships to this session. At this session, you meet to elect according to Rule 31. I repeat, you meet to elect according to Rule 31 to fill up a list provided by our predecessors in the Secretariat. This form has been distributed to representatives from your annual conferences. Now, Bishop, we may have to clarify some of the nominations that have to be done. The first one about the coordinating council comes from each annual conference. The second, the third, and the fourth, which are the Christian education and communication, the Board of Discipleship, and the Board of the Laity, two have been merged, as I understand. So I think they will have to correct the list that have been supplied earlier. Now, just to make it clearer, the provisions for the Board of Christian Education and the Board of Discipleship and the Board of the Laity are similar. The area has to meet, the delegates from the area have to meet together and select the representation from their area for these three agencies. The provisions are that the annual conferences must rotate their membership in these quadrennial agencies. That means if your annual conference seated in these agencies the last time, you should not be seated in this quadrennium. So the area, the annual conferences of the area, the delegates from those annual conferences have to meet and nominate their members to the board, the merged board, and the Board of the Laity. Now, for the Board of Pensions, the provisions are 3 from each episcopal area. So again, the area has to meet. For the Board of Trustees, I think the same provision for rotating the conferences applies. So the area, the delegates from the area have to meet also. For the Commission on Archives, that's 1 from each area. The Division of Ordained Ministry, I think that's 1 from each annual conference. Or that's the AC Boom chairperson, so that's okay. For the Board of Women's Work, 2 representatives from each annual conference. Bishop, I think we will have to set a time for the delegates of the annual conferences per area to meet.
All right. We will, when you have studied that, then we will announce it. And if you have further questions and query about these things, you can always go to the Secretariat. Yes, let me... Kanino yun? Hindi akin. Well, I first saw Judge and then Sister and then Beverly in that order.
Good afternoon, Bishop.
Afternoon.
We are now on the afternoon of the third day, and still there are a lot to tackle. Before we went into elections this morning, what was being considered are the minutes of the coordinating council. And the way it went through, it appears that this will take a lot of time. So we would like to offer, Bishop, a suggestion to expedite the proceedings in the hope that we can spread the precious time of the Central Conference to the more substantive issues that it has to tackle. We would like to offer a suggestion, Bishop, namely that all the actions taken by the Coordinating Council be referred to an ad hoc committee on referral. The meaning here is that all of these actions will now be referred to this committee. They will examine this committee, these actions. The miscellaneous actions can be the subject of a summary approval, but those that entails business arising or implementation or further discussions, then that is the one that may be referred to legislative committees. Otherwise, it can be referred back to the conference as a whole. In this manner, we move on. So I would like to, for the Central Conference, that it creates an ad hoc committee composed of wise men. And I would nominate Dr. Menry Mendillo to be the chairperson of this committee on referral.
Judge Turgano, it is proper if you put that suggestion into motion.
I so move, Bishop. I so move.
All right, mga kapatid, yes.
Levy Bautista, Northern Philippines. Bishop, that's a complex motion. He's moving that we depart from what was already acted this morning. That's one. Number two, he's moving to suggest a certain procedure to elect a committee. Number two. Not only did the good judge also do that, he is also already nominating a chairperson with a specific name.
All right.
Those are three things being requested of us in one act. And it has the effect of undoing a procedure we already approved this morning. So a prior motion should be to reconsider the process through which we have been undergoing, and that takes a 2/3 vote.
All right, now, I will simply take that as a speech against the motion. Any further? His motion is in order and your speech was simply against it. All right, anymore. The motion before you is you create an ad hoc committee and refer all these actions there, and then they will, how's that, Judge?
They will go over the actions.
All right.
The miscellaneous actions that can be the subject of a summary approval. Okay. They will recommend that back to this committee, to this body as a whole. The items that require further deliberations can be referred to legislative committees if there are. Otherwise, they can also be referred back to this body for deliberation.
That is the motion before you to create this ad hoc committee. All right. Yes, Mr. Villalon.
Bishop, I am against the motion because...
Wait a minute. We now need somebody speaking for because the last one was against. Anybody? Kung wala na, I can recognize Sister Marisol. Yes.
Yung trabaho po na pinagagawa sa i-create na committee, trabaho po yun ng secretariat, actually, Bishop. Yung secretariat po, kaya po tayo nag-elect ng mahuhusay nating secretaries, ay para po talagang lahat ng actions dito ay iisa-isahin po nila yon, tapos sila din po yung magbibigay.
Point of order, Bishop, we are not a legislative committee. you have a reference committee, Bishop, which can
Alright.
take its place.
So, hindi daw nila gawain yun. So, you create that committee para magawa yun. O, na yung sinasabi niya, which I think is
Pero
right.
yung actions, Bishop, dati naman po yung mga actions ng Central Conference, talagang sinasummarize po yun, no? Sinasummarize yun ng Secretariat, ini-encode po yun, tapos ibibigay talaga siya sa Coordinating Council.
We reiterate our point of order, Bishop. This is
Alright.
already a summary of action.
Sentay muna. There is a motion here by judge. It is properly seconded. It is in order. There was a speech from Brother Bautista, which was considered a speech against, and then circumstance another speech by Marisol considered a speech against. Now, are you ready to vote? Okay? You simply, if you want to create that committee, you say yes. If you do not like, you say no. That's all about it. Okay? Those who would like to create this ad hoc committee, raise your hand. Down. Those against? All right, we need to count. Let us do it again. Those who would like to create this committee, stand up to be counted. Please count, secretaries. All right, those are against, stand up to be counted. All right, please do the summary and let us announce the result. Dalhin nyo dito yung resulta at babasahin natin. There is an election. For 147 against 122, you passed it. So now let us create that ad hoc committee.
My link to that is he is out of order.
Now it's before you. How would you like to proceed in creating this committee? How many people? What is their job?
Bishop, this is the job is just as I have said.
All right.
May I request that the vote that maybe Pastor Levi Bautista should be there.
All right.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe volunteers would be welcome to the committee.
Before you do that, you designate how many people are going to compose this committee.
Is
3, 4, 5, 20? How many people would you like?
Is a committee of 7 wise men enough?
All right. 7? Would you like 7?
And women, men and women.
3 men and 3
youth.
women.
With
3
what?
men.
With a youth.
You want 7.
Yes,
3
sir.
men and 3 women.
Yes,
and
sir.
1
youth.
And 1 in between. Okay.
And if I may, Bishop, I would like to nominate.
All right, you are in order. Tama na. Okay ba yung 7? All right, by common consent, yes. You may proceed with the names.
For the men, Dr. Mendilio, Pastor Bautista.
Hintay mo na, sinong Mindilyo? Ma-invalid ang balot mo, Judge.
Yes, Dr. Menre Mendilio.
All right, Dr. Mendilyo.
Pastor Levi Bautista.
Okay. All right, let us make sure that deacons are qualified here. All right, okay.
Yes. For the women, Miss Gladys Mangindoyos and
Okay.
Miss Phoebe Crismo.
Kulang pa ng isang lalaki. 3 sinabi nyo eh.
Ay, for the remaining, it's Attorney Carlos Cao.
Attorney Cao. Who is the youth?
The youth is the president of the N.
All right.
MYAF, UMYF, AF.
So these are the names. Bautista, yes. All right. Oh, you changed the name. He declines the nomination. All right. Anybody from the floor would volunteer or nominate that name to fulfill the one lacking member?
May we nominate then Attorney Ray Abdon, Bishop?
Attorney Ray Abdon. Okay, so you have Mindilyo, Abdon, and who's the other one? Cao. And then the youth president, and then the women are Mangindoyos, Crismo, and who's the other one?
Miss Nympha Intendencia.
All right.
Pastores.
All right. It's before you now. If you have no objections about these names, raise your hand. All right. Those who are against it, then you have created the ad hoc committee. Now, what does this mean? We stop right now and give the job to them? Or this will be effective after we adjourn? You specify it.
Yes,
Gusto
Bishop.
yung technicality.
That is why it is an ad hoc committee, because it is
All right.
only for this conference.
All right.
It's
Then,
a pro hac vice action.
okay, then when will they start their job? Now, then ye are excused to go. Is that what you mean? All right. Anyway, basta sila, then nilang gawain nila yon. Now, since we have no more actions to discuss, I will now call on the young people to deliver their lengthy address. Yes, ayun. I'm sorry. I promised you.
Salamat po, Obispo. Una po sa lahat, nagpapasalamat po ako kay Bishop Leo sa kanyang mapagpakumbaba at mapagpatawad na puso sa mga salita na nabitawan ko kanina at yung akin pong mga kilos. Yun na po. Maraming salamat po, Bishop. Teka, hindi pa ako
Maraming
tapos.
salamat din. Yeah.
Ako pa rin eh. Ang sumunod po, nag-announce po si Earl tungkol po sa nomination from different episcopal areas, pero wala pong binabanggit kung sino po ang dapat mag-convene. Kasi ginawa by annual conferences ang nomination, so sino po sa episcopal area ang magko-convene para po mamili ng mga magkakatawan sa bawat episcopal area.
All right, thank you. Are you ready? Well, it's the bishops who would nominate that. Yes, Sister.
Credentials Committee, Bishop. From Credentials Committee, Bishop.
Yes,
Report.
yes, okay.
Bishops and members of this conference, sa pong pakiusap sa mga heads of delegation.
Hintay muna. Halika dito. All right, you may proceed. Let's finish her report, and then we can call on the our sister. Yes.
Pakiusap po sa mga heads of delegation para po hindi ma-delay ang report ng Credentials Committee. Pakisubmit po ang inyong mga forms kung may mga replacements at iba pa. 10 minutes before the session kasi dino-double check po namin yon para po mas maayos po yung pagpapasok ng mga pangalan.
There is a reason for that. The report of the committee on credentials is done before its session only. Kaya yung ganitong gitna hindi pwede. That is why nakikiusap sila na ibigay nyo na ahead of time yung inyong mga substitute.
Apo, kaya pagtatayo na po ako, wala na po sanang mag-aabot o kaya para na po yun sa susunod na session.
Okay, that's clear enough.
Apo, yung sa una po ay inclusion in the list of delegates. Doon po sa page 185 ng ating handbook, wala pong number 7, yan po ay pangalan ni Estrelita M. Eusebio. No? Na-miss po yung kanyang pangalan doon. Number 2 ay correction in the order of election.
Alright.
Sa NEPAC, page 179, both number 3 and 4 has the name of Redentor Rigos. The proper order is number 3, Redentor Rigos, number 4, Jesper Maranya, number 5, Nestor Tangunan, and number 6, Talged Andres. There is no number 7. Number 3, replacements to be seated this afternoon. NCPAC, Venilin Gaspar in place of Emma Cantor Orate. VISPAC, Nezer Soriano in place of David Cosmiano. From NELPAC, Ray Fabros in place of Celso Dumalig. NEPAC, Gideon Salatan in place of Teresita Saplaco. CELPAC, Josue Lacaulan in place of Augusto Rosario, and from Palawan PAC, Glenda Peria in place of Mario Damasco. Northwest Mindanao Philippines Annual Conference, Samuel Miguel in place of Joseph Cornito. That's all, Bishop.
All right. If you will approve those names, raise your hand. Antay muna kasi naunang nagpataas yung yes, Brother Regala.
Engineer Robert Regala from Pampac. Obispo, meron po tayong rules na before the session, morning or afternoon, hindi na pwede pong magpasok ng alternates. At nakapag-cast na po tayo ng votes this afternoon. So, on my recollection of that rule, we cannot entertain that report of the credential, Bishop.
The chair has a discretion to say yes or no to that. Ang sinasabi niya, kanina pa siya nagpapataas ng kamay at hindi natin nakita, and so we agreed to let her make the report. So let us proceed. Lahat na sumasang-ayon, itaas ang kamay, lahat na tutol, pinagtibay. One more instruction, Sister. Ibigay mo yung listahan sa Secretariat. Now, Sister Beverly.
I just want to react dun sa sinabi ni Earl kanina, Bishop, regarding sa Board of Pension. Because hindi manggagaling dito yung membership ng Board of Pension, kundi yung mga chairs of the annual conference Board of Pensions. They will be selected, they will form themselves per area, and then the executive committee of that area will represent the Central Conference Board of Pensions.
Ganito ang pwede niyong magawa. Pag nahalal na yung tatlong obispo, then you give them this instruction to do that in their area. Okay, so siguro bukas o mayang gabi, tatlo na yung obispo, din mayroon na silang gawain agad. Alright? So I will call on the youth to deliver their youth address if they are prepared at this time. Okay, andyan na sila.
Good afternoon, everyone. May all the young people in this session stand as you are able.